Let's get right into it. Something just happened in South Asian geopolitics that has, well, completely torn up the old rulebook. We're talking about a decades-old understanding that's just been shattered. And the flashpoint is India's northeastern frontier. A really surprising move by Pakistan is rewriting the rules and stirring up a whole new level of tension.
For years, there was this unspoken agreement, a kind of diplomatic line in the sand that just wasn't crossed. Well, that line has been completely erased. Pakistan just made a move that has huge implications for the stability of the entire region, and it's a direct challenge to India's sovereignty in a way we've literally never seen before.
So, what is this bold new move exactly? What's the big deal? Let's break down the specifics of this new challenge and really get into why it's causing such a stir.
Okay, it all comes down to a single word, Zangnan. Now, this is the name that China uses for the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. And here's the bombshell. Pakistan's government is now officially using it too. And believe me, this isn't just a simple change in wording. It is a very, very deliberate and powerful political statement.
And this is the absolute crucial point. By adopting China's terminology, Pakistan has, for the very first time, gone from this kind of vague, ambiguous position to an explicit official challenge of India's territorial integrity in the Northeast. This is a completely unprecedented step.
Now, to really grasp how significant this is, we've got to look back a little. This isn't just some minor policy tweak. We're talking about a dramatic 180-degree break from decades of Pakistan's official foreign policy.
The shift is it's stark when you see it laid out like this. For decades, everyone knew Pakistan sided with its ally China, right? But that support was always indirect, unspoken, kind of like geopolitics happening in the shadows. But now, it's all out in the open. The challenge is direct, it's official, and it's very, very public.
So, the big question is, why now? What was the trigger? Well, this timeline really helps connect the dots. You have the long history of indirect support, that was the status quo. But the catalyst, the spark that lit the fuse, seems to be a recent diplomatic spat over an Indian passport that was questioned by Chinese authorities. That seemingly small incident was apparently enough for Pakistan to just drop all pretense and publicly go all in with this new aggressive stance. But hold on, this isn't just a three-way issue between India, Pakistan, and China. We need to widen the lens a little bit, because the cast of characters with claims in this arena is actually bigger and more complex than you might think.
This table really shows you how tangled this situation has become. First, you've got China's claim, which has been there forever. No surprise there. Then, and this is super interesting, you have Taiwan, which also claims the region based on historical maps from way before the Chinese Civil War. And now, you have Pakistan officially throwing its weight behind China's position. This adds a whole new, powerful layer to an already messy map of claims.
Naturally, a direct challenge like this can't just go unanswered. This has kicked off some very serious discussions within India about the need for a completely new strategic approach to deal with this new reality.
And the thinking goes something like this. If the rules of the game have been changed this drastically, then India's old playbook just might not cut it anymore. Pakistan's new aggression is being seen as a wake-up call, a moment that demands a fundamental rethink of India's entire foreign policy.
So what does this new thinking actually look like in practice? Well, here's one pretty radical idea from analyst Prashant Dhawan. He argues that India should switch from a defensive to an offensive posture. What does that mean? It could mean asserting its own claims on regions held by Pakistan and maybe even actively supporting independence movements there. It's essentially a call to fight fire with fire. So how does this all come together into a new strategy? Well, the proposal can basically be broken down into 3 steps. First, reassess. India has to recognize that its old diplomacy-first approach might not be enough anymore. Second, contrast. Call Pakistan's actions what they are, aggressive provocations. And finally, step 3, respond. Adopt a new, much more assertive counter-strategy that actually matches the seriousness of the challenge. So all of this, the new claims, the historic shift, the talk of a new strategy, it really all boils down to one final provocative question that India now has to face head-on. And here it is. In this new landscape, should India completely change its foreign policy and start actively supporting countries that have their own disputes with Pakistan? It's a question with absolutely no easy answers, and it really gets to the very heart of the strategic dilemma facing the region today. It's definitely something to chew on.